Hello, it is I, Deadpan, once again here with the Deadpan Diaries. New location, not really much going on here. We got the team poster. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about now. This phone's been acting really nutty. The FooBar phone is on a whole nother level of where the FooBar phone has decided now it won't charge past 49% even when I have it turned off. So that's not good. And yeah, not ideal. A lot of things just going wrong lately. By lately, I mean this year. It's been a hell of a year. A hell of a year.
Someone tell.
Never mind that. That was not important. Just trying to get some ideas here up in this piece because we are so unorganized here at the Deadpan Diaries Demonstratum that I don't know what I'm gonna say. I just be chilling. Apparently, exactly today, 24 years ago, Adult Swim launched for the first time on Cartoon Network. That's cool. Aqua Teen poster up here. That's kind of cool. I'm just scrolling Twitter. Here, you got my Adult Swim section here. Piece goes coast to coast with the brat cover. Don't ask. This place goes coast to coast. I wish I had more of these, seeing as how. Well, there is some good news in the Adult Swim front anyway. Woo! And yeah, if you didn't hear, HBO Max decided a month ago they went and removed the Brack Show and C-Lab 2021. I believe HBO Max the only ones they have left on Adult Swim as far as shows for Adult Swim shows is Rick and Morty, which they just added season number 8, the newest season. I can't remember the number, but it's season number 8. And you know, for me, it's like, and I think Smiling Friends, Smiling Friends, which is it's a shame because, I mean, way I see anyway, it's really shameful. Like, this is HBO Max. Like, you guys should know. Not only should you have Adult Swim, but like I was there day one. I was watching Adult Swim that day. I remember my brother would watch the Labor Day marathons. I might have talked about this before. Who the hell knows? Labor Day marathons and telethon rather. Labor Day telethon. Jerry Lee Lewis. No, Jerry. Sorry, not Jerry. Not that bastard pedophile. No, Jerry Lewis rather. Yeah, this I'm not the biggest fan of him. Sitting here in my shorts and whatnot. But anyway, kind of look a little funny. But Jerry Lewis telethon he used to do for muscular dystrophy, and I think they still do it after he passed, but with a new host. And I was there day one. I was watching all this stuff, like, because whenever there was a break in the telethon or whatever, I was there from the beginning, and it sucks they were with this. The good news, though, is that if you go to adultswim.com, you can watch all the shows they ever did, like, no side in, no whatsoever. Don't have to go get a count or nothing. Just really cool stuff. That's interesting. That's unfortunate. HBO Max, you could have kept it. It's weird to have a streaming service in one of your biggest things ever. Biggest things ever, and you just remove it. That sucks. What are you gonna do? I've There's a lot of dead air here. Dead air all around. Mostly was watching the Butts in the Seats podcast. I mentioned that last. I feel like I mentioned that last episode. I found out though that so this is gonna tie into something I saw on Twitter here, and shouts out Adult Swim first of all. Great block, even though the people running it weren't always the best, but great block, especially like Brack Show, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, like with Teen Hunger Force, Family Guy, Robot Chicken. That's my era. There's some good stuff after that. The Rick and Morty, probably the best thing. Of course, I didn't really watch a lot of the animes that run Adult Swim. Like at the time, I used like the DVD or something. But great lineup there that I really like. I'm trying to think of some other ones I watched I knew of. Remember Mongo Wrestling Alliance? Anybody else watch Mongo Wrestling Alliance? I liked that one. Didn't last long, but I liked it. Anyway, though, so I found out via a podcast that was talking about another podcast in this case, and the Butts to Seat podcast was mentioning that Eric Bischoff in his 83 Weeks podcast said that about the white Hummer, the infamous white Hummer, 1999, being driven by somebody that hits Kevin Nash in his limo. It's a big mystery, all summer long. Who hit the white Hummer? Who ran him down? A lot of cars hitting wrestlers in 1999, just all around. Kimberly's running over David Flair. Stone Cold's trying to run over Shane McMahon. Stone Cold's getting run over by Rikishi. Just somebody's on White Hummer. Well, White Hummer, according to Bischoff, in one of these 83 weeks, said that there never was a plan for who it was going to be. It was all this speculation. They didn't have a plan. He said it didn't matter because they got them to where they were going. Now that ties to my next point. That's already pretty stupid. But this leads to my next point of Eric Bischoff saying recently. It's a bit of a weird segue here, but in a recent interview, I might want to read more of his comments, but he said that Dixie Carter is a better booker than Tony Khan. If I can find here in my bookmarks. Which already is a nutty thing to say. Because, Dixie Carter over here booking Dixieland. What a winner. Real winner. Real winner. So much Rusev Day. Crazy hamburger. Oh, here we go. I found it this long. Let's see if it lets me see this without a paid firewall. Let's hit 1, 2, acknowledges. Believes Tony Khan doesn't want to acknowledge his weaknesses. Believes TNA wants to have better content quality than AEW. Yada yada yada. Can I get the quote? I'm not gonna watch this video. Well, I think the question was who's the better booker. Although Dixie did not aspire to be perceived as the main booker TNA, at least she was aware of what she didn't know and brought in people to do that job. I mean, one of those people is you, Eric Bischoff, and your booking was shit. You and Hogan, you didn't even know what the X Division was by your own acknowledgement. You didn't understand the knockouts. You didn't care about the tag team division. You didn't care about one of the tag team champions. You didn't even know who he was. Real good job there, and Hogan was making it all about himself. But sure. And then there's Russo for a while who could book good every once in a while, once in a blue moon, but had to do stupid shit like ridiculously over-sexualized storylines where he's like yelling at a woman about her tits and planning racist storylines, including some that didn't make TV that Jerry Jarrett's book. He talked about R-Truth and Jeff Jarrett and what was going to be R-Truth's girlfriend, which don't want to get it out there, but it's pretty fucked up. And then what else? There's other things you were pitching. He was booking all kinds of crazy shit. You did have Dutch Mantel and Jeff Jarrett and Jim Cornette for a while, and they were doing okay. But all right. That's why I believe. I'll keep reading the rest of this. Quote. That's why I believe she's a better booker than Tony Khan, because she realized her weakness and tried to surround herself with different time with different people operating in that world. On the other hand, Tony thinks he's a good booker, and clearly he's not. I'd argue he is a good booker. I mean, also this is already a fucking lie from this man who doesn't even seem to know what the hell he's talking about. I don't even think he actually watches or pays attention to the show. This is a man who not long ago said a video package on a wrestling show is not a story. I'm talking about Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. Keep in mind, that video package wasn't the only thing they did for that. There's a whole segment on TV the week before, and the week before that. There's like 2 different interview segments. One with Nigel in the ring, and one with him on Collision. But yeah, this is not a story, according to Bischoff, who apparently doesn't even watch the shows or even have anybody relay him the clips that he needs to talk about here. Very clickbaity, very low level here, baiting level of Eric Bischoff for running a podcast. Like the qualifications for, I don't know why I'm worried about a YouTube video being shit with it. This is like the level of shit he's pumping out. But he's also full of shit because we know for a fact Tony Khan has talked about how he had the idea to do a storyline with Mariah May in Stardom. He had an idea for a year before that. He had the idea, and he wanted to see about her contract when it was up. He wanted to wait till her contract was up. He wanted to bring in Mariah May, and he had an idea to put her in a storyline with Tony Storm that was going to be like all about Eve. And I don't know if he hasn't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie, but I'm aware of it. Or he just wasn't as well versed in it. And he brought RJ City to help write the story. RJ City, where he worked for, he didn't bring him in, but he had him like, hey, I'm gonna have you like take care of this story. Like, for a fact, he was booking the story. He was booking a lot of Mariah and Tony. There's stuff that I think they added themselves, but he's, coming up with the concepts here. So by his own admission, he told, RJ City, come here and help me write this because you know more about this than I do. He's surrounding himself with a different person. There's also, like, the beginning of AEW, famously, that Dynamite that ended with the evil... The Dark Order guys, and the one's punching the mat, and he's supposed to be hitting Hangman or whatever. That was like, at that point, apparently, is when Tony Khan took the book himself, made himself head booker, and he was booking before that. I think it was like him, the Bucks, and Kenny, I believe, were like the full booking committee. Allegedly, that was the whole booking committee. There's people to this day that they keep talking about pining for CM Punk's Collision. And they seem to be, at least on the implication, that CM Punk was having something to do with booking Collision. And all indications, I don't know if Punk himself said this, I'm not entirely sure. But since all these people seem to believe it, then they seem to think that, he must have brought in CM Punk at some point to help with something here, at the very least. Some ideas for Collision, you would think. Because we know about the feud with Starks, the planned all-out match with Starks and all that, and then the feud with MJF, supposedly. There's more to this quote, by the way. Tony Khan is not aware of what he doesn't know, said the man who didn't know who this tag team champion was on the show he just joined. Despite the obvious data, considering that as I understand it, Tony is a data analyst. One would think he would simply look at them and say, well, this sucks, it's not working, so I'm going to do something different. Dixie would have done something different. Tony's not doing anything different. I think in hindsight, Dixie was a better booker. Okay, also, I don't think Dixie ever booked a thing in her life except maybe Dixieland, because she always had booking committees. When was she on the booking team? There's stories... You can go listen to the You Gotta Be Kidding Me TNA History podcast. Specifically, go to the early Impact days. You have to go to the FSN Impact. So 2004-ish. You went around 2004. I think it's July 2004 for about less than a year. It's not. I think it's almost exactly a year. You want to hear? I think it's around the first Victory Road, the first pay-per-view, the 3-hour show they did. That Dixie was complaining about that why are you booking these shows? You're booking all these squash matches. That's all you're booking on Impact is squash matches. You're not giving anybody any real time most of the time. And they're arguing Jeff Jarrett, I believe Dutch Mantel, Vince Russo, and Dusty Rhodes. Their thing was well, this gets the superstars more over, And I think they kind of worked her saying, well, you don't understand the business because she wasn't a wrestling fan when she came in. She was not a wrestling fan. So they kind of worked her well, we know the business, and she's gonna believe that because these guys are people she hired. Let me do something. Okay, hired to do this, and she thinks they know what they're doing, and they did sometimes, but not always. Especially you, Russell. But the point is that we have these stories, and she's not booking here. When the hell was she fucking booking? Because we know about the story with Vince Russo and the heat they got in when they brought him back, and Spike TV didn't want him around. We know the booking committees of Jarrett, Cornette, Dutch Mantel, Bischoff, and Hogan. Was she booking then? The only time I could think of she was booking would have been like after they left, and that's mostly the Dixieland stuff. You know? I mean, I don't think she booked the segment with where she's humping Hogan's leg. I think that was Hogan booking that shit, but you never know. As far as Dixie would have done something different, that's also horse shit because the thing with that is that, like, yeah, people mostly talking about the thing is they were doing different. I think it was, they did things different. That's the problem. They were doing great for a while there. They had 1 million people every week watching this show, and they shit on everything that people like. They shit on the 6-sided ring. They shit on Abyss. They shit on the X Division. They shit on the knockouts. They got big shit. That lockbox was ridiculous. This is the shit people want to see. They want to see a good women's wrestling match, but you're getting a goddamn 8-man tag, 8-woman tag, 8 knockout tag here. Your knockout tag is we're gonna have a pinfall, and you get a key, and you get whoever. It doesn't even matter who wins the match. Whoever gets the first 4 falls, you get keys. The match ends, and you go and you open the key, and you either get a contract to fight anybody, forced striptease in the ring, because that's a great way to promote your women's division, a spider, or the women's title. And guess what? We got a title change without anybody actually like pinning the champion or anything. Because that's what people want to see on your wrestling show, man. I got this ad in the way. Come on, I'm going to read. If you look at the quality, we can debate about TNA, and many people mocked TNA before and still do. He's right there. People were way too critical of TNA at certain points. Especially, like, compared to some of the shit WWE was doing around the same time. Like, TNA was gradually better at different points, keep in mind. They were rocking for a minute. I think AEW would wish to have the quality control TNA's had for a long time before I arrived, while I was there and even after. What quality content, dude? You were putting West Bisco on TV. You're putting your shitty son on TV. Nobody wanted to see this. They left in droves. And also Dixie Carter, but I don't know even the content. I feel like he's talking promoter because she's not a booker. Like, I don't know any context of maybe Dixieland the one time. And if you think that was good, you are smoking crack. Dixieland was shit. But like, if we're talking promoter, this is a woman that wouldn't pay AJ Styles the same money he was making. She wanted to pay him less money, so he left the fucking company. Mr. TNA left. And you know who else left? I left. I mean, I was already gone, but I was like, I ain't returning now. You're taking away everybody I like in this company. You have a few bright spots here and there, but those bright spots ain't worth putting through 2 hours of gaga. Know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch more to quote here. Tony Khan and Dixie. That's even crazier. The issue with AEW is not talent. It's Tony Khan. Dixie understood that. They didn't try to beat a booker. Okay, is she a booker or not? Is she a better booker than Tony? Then how the fuck is she a better booker than Tony Khan did? And Bischoff, you just said she's not a booker. And on top of that, bullshit. This woman, this woman was doing this. She was on TV as a shitty character that nobody wanted to see again. Getting back to the theme, we didn't want this. Nobody, I wasn't watching that much yet, but the people were watching. Know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. But absurd to me. Like, this is an insane point. Say what you want. You're going to say it anyway. About Tony Khan and his booking. But it's weird that he's just sitting here, like, straight up calling Dixie Carter something she isn't, which is a booker. And even admitting that. And then, like, but she's better than him, though, because TNA had better quality control. Yeah, where's that quality control when you guys were having the Knockouts title change hands in boxes, and when you were like having to have a what the hell is it called, a locker and tie brawl? Just can't let them wrestle. Just have to have Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. You just can't have a match. You have to have a black tie brawl. It's weird ass shit. Weird shit. I don't know what's going on with Eric Bischoff. He's a weird motherfucker. Focus on pushing your weird wrestling company, bro. Man, I thought I'd talk about something a little unique here, as I was hearing about the Critic podcast, and I was watching a Critic. Thought I'd talk about. So this is something people might not know because it might be too young. I didn't even know this till like listening to Talking Simpsons podcast. The Simpsons, like its success, led to several networks that were like the TV networks, not like cable ones, the main ones you get on free TV, quote unquote, around that time. So Simpsons was on Fox, and depending on your area, it'd be a different channel, but the regular Fox. You had ABC, CBS, NBC, WB, UPN. Eventually, I think they started these later. But around the time of Simpsons, they tried to make other cartoons in prime time, and one was called Capital Critters. I've never seen any of these. There's three of them, man. I've never seen any of these. Capital Critters. It's like these animals that are in Washington. Fish Police, which it's about fish police, and Family Dog, and it's about a family. Like these are really weird shows. I don't have a lot. Wish I could have more to say about them. I don't know. I'm tripping. I'm gonna look up Fish Police because I'm curious what that's about. Damn. Apparently, it only had 3 episodes broadcast before it got canceled. Cancel culture. Cancel culture strikes again. Beneath the ocean, a fish named Inspector Gill works for his police department under Chef Abalone. He solves the various crimes of the city while tangling with Biscotti Calamari. These names are kind of really on the nose. I wonder if they ever arrested Albert Fish. Looks like a Family Dog. Brad Bird created this, by the way. He later went on to be on The Simpsons, like as a writer. Okay. All it says is one of the worst. Does it say like the thing? It's based on an 87 episode of Amazing Stories. It originally aired for a single season with 10 episodes. The series was about an average suburban family, the Binfords, is told for the eyes of their dog named Jonah. I think I remember Amazing Stories. It was an American anthology show they had that ran for like a couple years. I wonder if there's anywhere to watch that. That's a question. I haven't, as far as wrestling, I haven't been as tuned in lately. It's like just too much stuff going on. But one thing I was thinking about the other day is, something I miss is the CM Punk, that when he's with Paul Heyman, when he's a Paul Heyman guy, when he would look at Paul and say, "Paul, what time is it?" And Paul would point to the watch and he'd show it, or he'd pull the watch over here to Punk, and Paul would be like, "It's clobbering time." I like that. I like him having like do a little group work there. That's cool. Like if you think about it, he wasn't a Paul Heyman guy for that long. He basically is that for like less than a year. He's like he joins him. He has him after that match with where he calls Cena a match and that falls anywhere, and Paul Heyman puts it out the window in the car, and that's like after SummerSlam, and then it goes on to like after WrestleMania. He leaves, he comes back, and he's a face, and then he's after a couple months he's a face, and he basically drops Paul. Like it's not a long run. It's really not. I get why, but it would have been nice if it could have lasted a little longer. Just like it was a fun for all that time. What they were doing, it was a fun era. As hard as like they were pushing heel Cena, not heel Cena, heel Punker, heel Cena's a whole nother can of worms. Jeez, that heel run is insanely bad, isn't it? I don't know why I mentioned that. Just felt like it. Another thing I was thinking about is I'm like kind of been watching some movies lately. Some that I've seen before, but it was I saw I saw the movie, the Marvel movie. Oh no, I said the bad word, the naughty word. I saw the Marvel movie Shang-Chi, Legend of Ten Rings again, and for what it's worth, like this is not only a good movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it had good martial arts, good fight scenes, good story, good character. Like there's really not much I can say bad about it. Even the part people seem to hate with the like joke when he's telling his backstory to Katie on the airplane. Shang Chi is, and you hear her. He says, "If my father asked me to give him the world to burn the world, I would have said." And you hear beef or vegetarian, and then turn on the plane and it's the waitress. I thought that's funny. Like that to me felt like a comic book. I feel like someone was telling the story and coming, someone interrupts like, "Well, we gotta get back to the story." Like that's not a. I don't think that's a bad thing. And also, this is a movie that's pretty serious. There's not a whole lot of comedy. There's just a little bit. You have like a little bit with him and Katie, like the karaoke stuff, and we're talking about the Hotel California, and the stuff with Trevor Slattery later, like which is really a short part. But like, there's a lot of like actual serious stuff in here. So I'll buy a little bit of comedy. But I feel like this is a movie that I don't know if it bombed. I know it didn't do as well as people were like. I might look that up in a minute, but I thought it was a pretty good movie. I'm like, I don't know what people really want when they come to like superhero movies because to me, it's like this is a movie where you have martial arts and fantasy and superpowers, and all the fights are good. The story's got enough to it. The visual effects are nice. They're not bad or anything, and it doesn't even it's like such a standalone that it could be its own thing without being connected to like 8 movies, but it has the loosest connections to the Marvel because of the Ten Rings and the Mandarin and all that. That like I feel like this is it's probably like I mean there's too many. I don't know if it'd be top 10, but it'd be like top 15 MCU movie. I don't think it did well enough. I just don't feel like it did. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm about to look that up right now, but maybe I'm wrong. But like it's a movie. I don't know. Like if it didn't do well, I don't understand why it didn't do well. You know, it feels like a movie that people would you would be clamoring to see because you're thinking superhero movies like this is basically what it feels like it should be a good superhero movie. 93% of Rotten Tomatoes, so at least it's getting love like that. Let me see how the movie did. Also, 150 and a 200 million budget, 432 2 million. So it made some money. Okay, so it got some accolade. All right, I felt a little. I guess I was a little right. It grossed over. Okay, so wait, so no, I did all right. It says it grossed over 442 million, making the 95th gross film 21. Set box office records. Reception, I guess. So I don't understand like movie box offices because the thing I've heard is that they have to make double their money back because they spent their budget and then like 100 or like 1 times more or something because of marketing. So like, I guess this made a big profit because it made 400 mil, but then that's just its budget. It's like the 32 mil, the only money it made, and is that not? But it says it broke box office records, I guess, and it says about many who praised its exploration representation of Asian culture. That too, which is a free to refer of yeah. But I don't know. I guess my thoughts are wrong on that. Well, what are you gonna do? I like Eric Bischoff. I'm wrong here. Seems like it's actually pretty well received. Also, a movie I didn't enjoy that I watched again. I liked some of it, and a lot of that is just Charlie Murphy and Donald Faison. That's King's Ransom. Ooh dear, oh dear. This is a movie. I watched this 20 years ago, and I don't know why, but I was kind of a mark for Anthony Anderson as like a preteen for some reason or teen. You know, I got into his movies. I think I was watching a show. He was on All About the Andersons. It was a pretty good sitcom. I kind of have like a habit of watching. I watch like a lot of sitcoms, certainly some shitcoms, but I don't usually give them time of day if I find an episode bad. Like if I started like, oh this sucks, I'm not gonna continue. But if I find one I like, I might stick with that for at least I used. To. I don't really do it anymore, but used to like when I was watching a lot of network TV. A lot of I had cable. I was watching I was kind of watching more regular TV most of the time, and there was a ton of sitcom. They would make a bunch, and I would like usually check them out a little bit if they looked at least a little interesting, like just a little bit. Some I just like accidentally leave the TV on, like oh here's it's coming on that rollover, that classic rollover. So yeah, Anthony Anderson, I kind of like around this time he was in that show. He's in the scary movie Free. He's in, which I love that fucking movie. I still say love that movie. It's a great movie. I think it's hilarious. He's in the first barbershop, and honestly, he's one of the only funny things in the first barbershop. So it's like, well, he's doing pretty good. We should give him a movie, right? So I can actually pull, because I feel like most people don't even know the movie I'm talking about here. If I can pull this up. Oh. It's in my drawer. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. This is. Whoa. Ooh. I should have had this ready, but I wasn't even thinking I was going to talk about this movie. This movie here, King's Ransom. See, we also have Regina Hall in this. Charlie Murphy, like I said, there he is in the cover. Donald Faison, who I haven't seen a lot of movies. I know him more from Scrubs. And yeah, the plot of this movie is kind of a good idea. This rich dude his wife has divorced him, so he comes up with a plan. He's gonna kidnap himself and demand a ransom from his wife, and his wife don't want to do it, but because she wants his money, you see, it's like he's worried he's gonna lose all his money. But he has this woman who's like his secretary, who's like a mother to him, sort of, who's like really nice to him and cares about him. So he knows she won't leave big bad head, but just like force her to get the money. But everybody here on the cover, basically, they all have like he gets his girlfriend, who's Regina Hall, to get her brother. She has her brother. He's like he's gonna kidnap him for that kid. But the problem is he pissed off he pissed off his ex, not his ex, his like she's like a CEO of him, and he's taking who's gonna take over as VP of the company. He pissed her off because she's been working there for years, and he gives it to Regina Hall, who's his mistress, and she ain't happy about that. And so they have a plan. Her and her friend and their other friend, they have a plan. They're gonna kidnap him for money, and all this. And then there's also this random dude played by Jay Moore, who he pisses him off because he comes in like for a job basically, and he just ignores him. He basically treats him like shit. He treats a lot of people like shit. This is running through this movie. He's a rich asshole who just things. Stuff. So Jay Moore wants to kidnap him, and we get like this. The Faison is like pretending to be him. Malcolm King is his name. So Malcolm King, he pretends to be him so he can get a date with his girl, but then he messes up and he's in like a nice car, a Corvette, and he ends up getting kidnapped by him because he was in prison. Charlie Murphy doesn't know what this dude looks like, and he doesn't wear anything. And he's just hired by his sister to kidnap him and make it look good, and he does. He kidnaps him. That basically leads to the funniest part of this movie with him, basically him threatening him and stuff. Although there's some jokes here that if they haven't aged well, but that's mostly it. The stuff with him and Jay Moore. There is some funny bits in there, like him rubbing the mustard bread in his face and him snapping on him and stuff. But like a lot of this is just really bad, not funny.